Hey everyone, it's Tu from Hypop here, and today we show you how we use the AD200 in a low-light portrait situation. We're going to take the AD200 with us on location for a Roaring 20s themed photo shoot at a bar where there was basically no ambient light available, and of course, we'll also share the final result images. So if you're interested to see how it went, stay until the end of the video. Let's get into it. So this is the location we shot at. The bar features stylish interior such as a painted ceiling, a piano, red light, and velvet curtains, but there was no way we could have gotten a decent photo with just ambient light because we basically had no ambient light available. We were planning on using the AD200 as an off-camera flash, so the first thing we did was setting up the AD200 on its own light stand using the Godox AD200 bracket. The cool thing about this flash bracket is that it features a bones mount, which means you can set up the AD200 on the light stand and at the same time you can attach a softbox to it, which is exactly what we did here. If you want to know more about flash brackets, check out our flash bracket range comparison video linked here. Once the light is set up and the flash is connected to the flash trigger on the camera, it's time for some test shots. Here I asked my colleague to sit at the bar for me while I was playing around with the flash settings and position of the light. If you're a beginner, you want to schedule in some time for this process because it's a lot of trial and error. We had to figure out where to position the light and how to angle it so that the subject would be well lit, but there would be no reflection showing in the background. We ended up positioning the light at a 45-degree angle so that the image wouldn't look too flat or boring because we were still able to maintain some of the shadows. We also decided we were going to add a red hair light because the flash was actually neutralizing a lot of the red hues that made the room so charming. For the hair light, we had another AD200 on a light stand and paired it with the red gel from the Godox BD07 kit, which is a kit specifically designed for the AD200. By the way, all the products we use are from hypop.com.au, links are down below. The hair light was positioned behind the model's back at a 45-degree angle, and this way we were not only able to bring back some of the red color into the image, but to create a rim light around the model's body to make her stand out from the background. For our next shot, we wanted to create a dance scene reminiscent of the Roaring 20s. The goal was to make it look like she was dancing on stage. As this was going to be a full body shot, first we had to figure out how to light the model from head to toe. One possibility would be to use the AD200 without a softbox and instead of the Fresnel head, use the bell bulb that comes with it because this way the light would spread everywhere. However, that would have given us a very harsh light, which wouldn't be very flattering. Using the AD200 with the softbox, however, would have limited the light spread because the softbox would direct the light to go into one direction. So her head would probably be well lit, but her feet would be in the dark. Unless you move the light source further away from the model. But to do that, you would need more space, which we didn't have, and probably you would also need a stronger light source. Apart from that, you would probably light up the whole scene, which we didn't want. We only wanted to light up the model from head to toe, but still keep the background dark. I'll explain why in a minute. What we ended up doing is setting up two AD200s, each on its own light stand and with its own softbox, and stack them above one another so that we would be able to light up the model from head to toe. If you don't have the possibility to do that, another way of achieving a similar result would be to use a strip box instead of an octagon softbox. Now that we've managed to light her up evenly, let's take care of the background. At this stage, she's nicely separated from the background and the image looks good, but it doesn't look like she's performing on stage because the background is still dark. Remember how I said earlier that we wanted to keep the background dark? That's because now we can add in a spot of light, creating the illusion of her performing on stage. So we placed another speed light in the background on the floor, pointing it up to make it look like there was a spotlight hitting the curtains. Last but not least, we wanted to capture the model dancing to show off the fringes of her dress, but how do we capture movement with the AD200? The key is to shoot with a fast shutter speed and at a focal length where everything stays sharp and in focus. It also helps to have your camera set on manual focus so that your focus point doesn't move while shooting. We played around with the camera settings and the flash settings until we found a combination that worked. For our last shot, we were going after something more dramatic. We wanted to tell the story of her performing on stage playing the piano, and we envisioned something elegant and dramatic at the same time. We asked her to sit down at the piano so that we could figure out where to position our key light to light up her face. We ended up positioning an AD200 with a softbox right in front of her to keep half of her body in the shadows for a more dramatic effect. To make her stand out from the background, we were going to place a rim light right behind her, but we also wanted to keep what looked like a spotlight on the curtains from the previous shots. So we needed 2 more light sources, but there wasn't enough space behind her to set up 2 more backlights. After some testing around, we ended up having one of our team members hide underneath the piano, hand-holding the rim light and the backlight. One light was then pointed at the model, while the other light was pointed at the curtains. Here are the final results. So my final thoughts on how the AD200 performed in low light situations is that you can actually achieve pretty decent results considering its size and how affordable it is. It's actually one of the most affordable off-camera flashes that we sell, and it was still powerful enough to light up our scene while fitting in our backpack. The only thing I noticed that might be an issue is that we had a handful of shots where the flash didn't fire when shooting the dance scene. So if you're a wedding photographer, for example, who needs something portable enough to bring on location, but also fast enough to capture movement shots all the time, you might want to consider using the AD200 Pro instead, as the recycle time is significantly shorter. If you're interested in seeing a comparison between the AD200 and the AD200 Pro, please check out our comparison video linked here. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be updated of any new content we release. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and feel free to also follow us on our socials and check out our website. The links are down below. Thanks for watching!